What's happening, YouTube? Welcome to ITSJONJONTV. And today on ITSJONJONTV, we are getting back into Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, a courtship of rivals basketball. And today makes part 3. For those of y'all that made the request, hey, I do it all in one. I couldn't oblige with that, but hey, I'm meeting you in the middle. I'm gonna drop a part every single day until we're done with this series. So go ahead, drop a like, comment down below what you want me to get into next, because hey, if I divide this up right, there might only be one more part after this. So I gotta know what else I gotta check out after this. But anyway, not gonna waste so much more of your time. We got a video to finish here. Let's go ahead and get into the reaction. All right, let's go.
Welcome then to the Boston Garden and the start of the NBA World Championship Series. I'm Brent Musburger. In each of the last 4 NBA World Championship Series, either Magic or Bird has competed. But this is the first time that the two have gone head-to-head for the title.
Man, we jumped out on them that first game. And
I forgot to make this note too. I'll go ahead and put part 2 up at the top right of the screen. So go ahead, check that out if you haven't seen that already. Part 1 also, if you want to start from the beginning. I don't know which episode you're picking up on, but hey, we had fun in those episodes as well. So anyway, let's go ahead, get back into the reaction.
One in Boston.
And with less than a minute to go in Game 2, the Lakers were closing in on a commanding series lead.
From that point on, things began to crumble.
Down to 9 seconds. Magic holds the ball. Magic trying to work on Maxwell. Magic has still got it down to 2 seconds. 1 second. He's going to have to shoot it. He doesn't get it off.
Cheesy Johnson dribbling the timeout. What are you doing?
The Lakers regained their stride in Game 3, only to be rudely knocked off it again in Game 4.
And now let's watch it. Cooper and the Celtics, and now the bench is empty.
When Kurt Rambis got taken out, we started fighting instead of playing.
Kareem swings the elbow.
Got in their head.
Yelling at Larry Bird. Jaw to jaw.
And it made us realize we were not mentally tougher than the Celtics.
Magic's just not himself.
To be sure they won't let the time run out as they did in Game 2. Harris steals the ball and the Celtics call a timeout.
There are a number of places where, Irvin didn't do what people expected him to do.
Tied at 123. He misses the first. Johnson misses them both. Celtics want a timeout. Despondent Magic Johnson goes to the bench.
First of all, people like us, man, myself, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a basketball fan through and through. I called it in the last part. I knew what was about to happen here. This is the infamous NBA Finals series where Magic Johnson choked, all right? And there's really no other way to put it. Countless mistakes. He really costed the Lakers the series this go around, and the media was very tough on him. I'm pretty sure he was tough on himself, which this series, I think, actually kind of made Magic Johnson. It made him into the player that he eventually became, to where whenever clutch moments arose, he was actually able to seize the moment and actually execute and deliver. Like I said, man, basketball fans, this video is pretty much just refreshing us on what happened, but I already kind of knew what was about to take place here. So anyway, it was recommended also that I go back 10 seconds. So I'm going to try that out right quick, go back a little bit, and let's go ahead and get back to the reaction.
we started fighting instead of playing.
Kareem swings the elbow, and now is Gillian and Larry Bird. Jaw to jaw.
And it made us realize we were not mentally tougher than the Celtics.
Magic's just not himself.
To be sure they won't let the time run out as they did in Game 2. Harris steals the ball, and the Celtics call a timeout.
There are a number of places where, Irvin didn't do what people expected him to do.
Tied at 123. He misses the first. Johnson misses them both. Celtics want a timeout. Despondent, Magic Johnson goes to the bench. Bird turnaround, hits.
Game 5 went to the Celtics. Game 6 to the Lakers. It was like 1979 all over again. Down to one game for Bird and Magic.
If everybody had to look at it, probably would have said this is going to be a 7-game series.
No, I thought we'd sweep them in 4, but just went a little bit longer. Now we just have to do it in 7.
That's the only time I ever felt that.
Hey, that's so Larry Bird, man. Hey, that's a Larry Bird comment for sure, man.
Down to one game for Bird and Magic.
If everybody had to look at it, probably would have said this is going to be a 7-game series.
No, I thought we'd sweep them in 4, but just went a little bit longer. Now we just have to do it in 7.
That's the only time I ever felt that. There ain't no way they're walking out here with a win.
Magic Johnson.
No way.
Lakers had several chances, and here's Larry Bird.
Dunk.
Down the court. Bird. How does he do it? Now Johnson with the ball. The Lakers trying to cut it to 1. And he loses it. The Boston Celtics are the NBA World Champions.
I pride myself in being the guy who's going to win it for us and deliver under pressure. And it didn't happen.
I hope he was hurting. Hope it killed him. He made some bad plays down the stretch, and nobody in there was happier than me. Not only winning the game makes you feel good, but just knowing the other guy's suffering, and you know he was.
I remember after the game that both he and I were in the showers crying and stayed in there for about 35, 40 minutes. It was hard because not only had we lost to the Boston Celtics, he had lost to his nemesis, Larry Bird.
I think he just made me dislike him more, because he was that good. And I think you be jealous. You jealous a little bit.
Larry, does this get you even with Magic for what happened between Michigan State and Indiana State all those many years ago?
Yeah, we're professionals now, but I won this one for Fair Hope.
Well, it was a big deal, and I remember asking.
Hey, man, it is kind of funny, though, man. Like Larry Bird's response to that. First of all, hey, shout out to the response. But it's like, hey, man, in life, and especially in competition, you have winners and you have losers. Whenever you're the winner, honestly, at that point, hey, I'm on cloud 9. I'm at the top. Honestly, care less. But Larry Bird, and he knows this from experience because he says that national title game, it hurts still to this day. And he kind of want to dish out the revenge. So he hopes Magic feels the same thing. And that's the beauty of competition. Somebody's got to lose if somebody's going to be a champion. Somebody's going to be a winner. Somebody got to be a loser, and that's just life in general. So, hey, that's a W response, man. But anyway, go ahead and get back to the video.
I won this one for Terre Haute.
Well, it was a big deal, and I remember asking Quinn Buckner about it afterwards. They had a celebration in downtown Boston after they won the championship, and, it was unusual for Larry to have these little outbursts, as Quinn would call them. But, about 11:30 at night, finally he turned to Quinn, he goes, I got him. I finally got him. And he was talking about Magic.
The league was rejoicing too. Game 7 of the '84 series was one of CBS's highest-rated telecasts of the year, and the highest-rated game the NBA had ever produced.
All of a sudden, whether it was at CBS or Madison Avenue, the sports writers around the country became a phenomenon. What is happening here? The absolute foundation in this resurgence was the Celtics and the Lakers, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
But Magic was in no mood to bask in the accomplishment.
I took a media beating. Tragic Magic. This is why we say Larry Bird is better. It's probably the first time ever in my life I was depressed. And I didn't want people to see me. It was something I never dealt with in my life.
That particular series, that championship series, redefined his whole career because he never stopped working after that.
Magic was on a mission to prove to himself and the world that with the ball in his hands, he was still the one in control. And after his Lakers ran through the '85 season, he quickly got what he wanted, another shot at Bird and the Celtics.
They won the East, we won the West. So it's like everybody just get ready, sit back, and let's enjoy it.
But that's...
All right, so anyway, let me get my take on Magic and how he felt and his take on the whole situation that took place. You have to be able to take your darkest times and improve yourself to where those failures make you better. The reason why Magic became the player he did was because of that moment. And Michael Cooper actually said that. Like he said, you know, he worked after that loss to make sure that whenever the lights were bright and that moment was presented to him again, that he will be able to execute and not fail. Failure is good. I've actually been seeing that with my YouTube videos. Sometimes I do a video, hey, it does well. Sometimes I do a video, it doesn't perform well, doesn't even get triple-digit views. But as a creator, as somebody that actually takes pride in my craft, I have to actually look at my body of work and see, all right, what did I do wrong in this video? How could I improve? Read the comments, see what people are saying about my video. If they're commenting, of course, hey, comment, you know, if you made it this far in the video. But that's just life in general. If you lose, like I know for me, I've been humbled before. I know I made the comment in the last video about my career and how I've done well, but I've been humbled before. You know, you never feel a low until you've actually got money taken away from you, been demoted. And you actually have to take a look and reflect and be like, man, is this something that I can improve on to be better? And that's what that NBA Finals series did for Magic. It humbled him, brought him back down to earth. Of course, you know, you hear it, he talks about his alter ego. You got Irv and you got Magic. Sometimes something has to happen and God has a way of doing it, but to where you're humbled, you're brought back down to earth to where you got to be reminded, hey, I got to put in the work. I got to execute. I got to deliver. And nothing's going to be handed to me just because I'm Magic. And that's what this series did for him. And so it's beautiful to see where his career goes after this point. Of course, I know a lot of the history between both of these guys, but, you know, this documentary's a beautiful thing. And let's go ahead, get back into it.
Smile belied the intensity of the clash that awaited.
If I had a glass of water.
Sorry, got to remember to do this.
So it's like everybody just get ready, sit back, and let's enjoy it.
But that smile belied the intensity of the clash that awaited.
If I had a glass of water and any of those guys had been on fire, I would have drank the water and watched them.
They called us, you know, chokers and sissies. You know, we didn't like that, and they thought less of us. I knew they did.
In '85, we played them 4 times in exhibition season for some reason. I don't know why they scheduled that.
Wow.
By the 4th game, there was an all-out brawl.
They call this one of the greatest rivalries in all of sport, the Celtics and the Lakers.
Hey, Danny Ainge. Hey, shout out to Danny Ainge. Hey. Oh, it's funny. Danny said he about that life, man. Hey, what's happening? Put the paws up. Put them up, put them up, put them up. Let's go ahead and get back to the video.
Most one-sided rivalry in all of sports. 8 times these two have met for the NBA championship, and 8 times the Celtics have won.
At guard in his 6th year from Michigan State at number 32, Magic Johnson.
But in the '85 finals, Magic changed the script. Over 6 grueling games, he masterfully controlled the pace with all-around brilliance.
He has a triple-double again.
Behind their point guard, the Lakers finally knocked out the Celtics, winning the clinching game in the Boston Garden.
3 in 6 years, LA comes to Boston and wins the world title.
Redemption for one Magic Johnson. It's a long year last year to wait for this moment right now.
Magic had evened the score with Bird on the
Gotta
NBA
be a beautiful
tour.
feeling.
But the significance of their rivalry and their relationship was still just taking hold.
You crazy. I said, you're crazy. I'm not shooting no commercial with Larry. So I said, okay, what, we're gonna shoot it in LA?
I would never went to LA to film it.
Well, where are we gonna shoot it?
If you want to shoot a commercial, come to my house.
I was like, oh no. One stoplight. And I thought Lansing was small. I think the plan was, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm trying to get up out of here. My plan was that.
Even after Converse had convinced Magic and Bird to film a sneaker ad together in the summer of '85, a question remained. How would the two hated rivals on the court get along off of it?
I don't know how he's gonna react. I don't know how I'm gonna react. We didn't even shake hands, so how are we gonna do a commercial together?
The ad was to be filmed at the home Bird had built for his mom. It featured a full-length basketball court, the day's first location.
So they say, okay, you're playing one-on-one, and I'm looking at Larry, and he's looking at me like, is this real? Are we playing? Because, you know, this is Magic and Bird.
I could just hear Larry, starting in on, well, you bring it to the basket, and I'm going to send it 30 rows up.
So the guy was like, no, not like that. A fun game. We were both like, oh, okay. Like, like you can see this relief coming over both of our faces.
That brief détente led to the next stage, dialogue.
We sat down next to each other. How was your summer? Oh, it's going good. How was yours? It's going great. I said, man.
Hey, so this is where, first of all, shout out to Magic and Larry. Man, hey, it takes a real man to, one, compromise, right? Because Magic was trying to shoot in L.A. Larry was like, nah, we're doing French licks. Hey, Magic agreed, which actually kind of helped the courtship actually begin, or the friendship, or whatever you want to call it. And for those two to actually put their differences to the side. Whatever happens on the court happens on the court, but hey, we're not on the court right now. We could talk. It shows growth. Well, I mean, I could see Magic doing it, but it actually shows a lot of growth in Larry Bird for being able to compromise and be like, hey, we ain't on the court. We're not being competitive anymore. You don't seem like a bad guy. I think this is actually where everything starts to turn. So I've actually seen a couple of videos on this, I guess, event that took place, but I've never seen one that's probably going to be as detailed as this. So let's go ahead and get back into it. I'm going to try not to pause too much, and let's get through that.
It's a nice spread. You got it.
He's asked me, is this where you play? I said, yeah, I play here if it's not windy. If it's raining or windy, I go to the gym. But this is where I do all my work.
I see that tractor. You work on the tractor? He said, man, I work on this tractor every day. Larry Bird work on the tractor? He said, yeah.
It's just them two.
Sorry. Go ahead.
He said, man, it's a nice spread. You got it.
He's asked me, is this where you play? I said, yeah, I play here if it's not windy. If it's raining or windy, I go to the gym. But this is where I do all my work.
I see that tractor. You work on the tractor? He said, man, I work on this tractor every day. Larry Bird work on a tractor? He said, yeah.
It's just them two walking and talking, and every once in a while they'd stop and one of them would say something, and then they'd start laughing.
Then they said, okay, break, it's lunch break time. I was going to my trailer. He said, no, my mother has prepared lunch for us up at the house.
We went up to the house and we sat down there and we talked, and my mom, my brothers thought the world of him.
His mother was so nice, making sure I had enough to eat. I just saw my mother. It was crazy.
He charmed her. You can see it, but that's magic. He makes everybody feel welcome and warm, and he's a con man.
And while Magic charmed Georgia Bird, it was someone else who intrigued her son.
He met Irvin at lunch.
Irvin is a good dude. I like Irvin a lot better than Magic.
I was just so happy to finally be Irvin with him, because Magic was like, I don't know if I want to get to know this guy. But Irvin got a chance to talk about family, how he grew up. We just became two relaxed guys, just talking.
That day was great. It was a great day. Beautiful day.
Still, for Bird, ever the competitor, that's all it was. Just one day.
Magic thinks the next year, okay, well, now we're great friends, so, after the game, we're going to go out, we're going to have a beer. And Larry's like, no, you're right. I know you better. You're a good guy, but I still don't want anything to do with you.
He's a happy-go-lucky guy. If me and him got to be really good friends, go out on the court, he could still play the same game. I couldn't. I mean, that's just the way it is.
But when the ad hit the airwaves, for others.
Hey, man, real recognize real. Hey, you cannot knock that whatsoever, man. You got to be able to keep your competitive edge. It's a business at the end of the day. The more that you win, the more that you get paid. All right. Some people could flip that switch. Hey, I'm buddy with you, and guess what? I could take your head off. Some people can't. Hey, people are built differently. People have different things to make them tick and actually be able to step up and perform to the best of their ability, even if they're playing against a friend. Some people rather be foes. That's Larry Bird. Hey, respect on this side. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Have a beer, and Larry's like, no, you're right. I know you better. You're a good guy, but I still don't want anything to do with you.
He's a happy-go-lucky guy. If me and him got to be really good friends, go out on the court, he could still play the same game. I couldn't. I mean, that's just the way it is.
But when the ad hit the airwaves, for others, the perception changed.
I saw those limousines going through the cornfields, and I said, no, they didn't sell themselves out.
I heard Converse made a pair of Bird shoes for last year's MVP.
Hey, hear that. Hear Pat Riley's response. Oh, my goodness. They did not sell out. That's real, man. That's real. That is real. Anyway, let's go back and get back to reaction. I'm trying my best. Somebody made a recommendation to actually rewind a little bit whenever I resume the video. I'm actually a really, really good listener, but I got to be mindful to everybody else. So I'm trying my best, but I feel like it's messing up the flow a little bit. Let me know in the comments if you prefer this way. But anyway, let's get back to the video.
Converse made a pair of Bird shoes for last year's MVP. Yep. But they made a pair of Magic shoes for this year's MVP.
Okay, Magic, show me what you got.
Well, this is really a business thing.
The Bird shoe, the Magic shoe.
And maybe that's where the business thing started to get bigger and began to trump who they both really were.
It polarized the whole idea of lunch bucket versus Hollywood, white versus black. Just cemented all the differences between them.
Kids weren't wearing black gym shoes because they didn't want to be associated with the Larry Bird camp. You wore your white Converse.
The basketball rivals had morphed into cultural warriors, and race, more than ever, had become an unavoidable part of the conversation.
Yo!
But nothing about Bird and Magic had ever been as simple as black and white.
One of the big reasons this rivalry became so emblematic of so many things is because it was an easy dichotomy.
I'm sorry, but look at this. I thought that was Ed Sheeran, to be honest with you, man. Hey, forgive me. Oh, man.
Had ever been as simple as black and white.
One of the big reasons this rivalry became so emblematic of so many things is because it was an easy dichotomy for people to understand. But it's crazy to simplify it as saying white people like Bird and black people like Magic because 13% of the country is black. It wasn't like 87% of basketball fans preferred the Celtics.
Who's your favorite basketball player? Magic Johnson. Who's your favorite movie star? Eddie Murphy. Pina, all you ever talk about is nigga this and nigga that. And all your favorite people are so-called niggas. It's different. Magic, Eddie, Prince are not niggas. I mean, they're not black. I mean, let me explain myself.
Has the N-word ever been used?
Hey, man, wait. Hey, this video's definitely gonna get copyrighted, man. So, hey, like it up, man. Sub up, please, because, hey, great clip.
By a white person to describe Irvin, I doubt.
I'm not niggas. I mean, they're not black. I mean, let me explain myself.
Has the N-word ever been used by a white person to describe Irvin? I doubt it.
But as Magic enjoyed his image as a crossover star, it was Bird, the one-time great white hope, who had further emerged as the polarizing racial figure, due in part to that era's increasingly conservative political climate.
The rolling back institutionally of the achievements of the civil rights movement were going on apace from about 1975 on. But the triumph of the movement that rolled it back took place in the 1980s. And I think there was people who were very aware in the black community of what was going on. And I think there was a lot of sublimated frustration. And I think one of the ways it got sublimated was into basketball. And I think Larry, through no fault of his own, was the receptacle within which the lingering resentments somehow floated.
And after Bird led the Celtics to the championship in 1986, his third in the pros, winning his third straight MVP award in the process, the resentment grew.
I always felt that the press was biased in favor of Larry Bird. It always felt to me like they were gonna make Larry the hero. You know, you'd see somebody score and Larry would be in a cast in a suit on the bench and they'd say, Larry Bird made that possible a couple weeks ago when he told that guy he could do it and he just did it. They gonna get his motherfucker the assist and he not in the game?
Not to be racist, but we have a white guy.
Hey, man.
That's true.
Hey, man, that's crazy, though. Hey, but giving my take on that, I could say the media does stir narratives that they want to push. And as Arsenio Hall kind of noted here, they wanted Larry Bird to be the great white hope, in which he did not want to be. But who actually votes for players to actually win awards? The media. Nowadays, who votes on the yearly awards? Still to this day, the media. So that's true. I can see where Arsenio Hall's coming from. But let's go ahead and get back into it.
The assistant, he not in the game?
Not to be racist, but we have a white guy who's the best in the world. It's predominantly a black sport now. And you got a guy like Larry Bird who can't run, who can't jump, but can do everything out there.
That don't mean nothing to me. It don't mean anything to me. It never has. I don't know why. I mean, am I doing something wrong here?
Bird may have sought to avoid the conversation entirely, but the more he won, the less he could escape it.
Yep.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. What a play by Bird.
In 1987, after Boston beat the Detroit Pistons to advance to the finals,
did all that just to lose.
Pistons rookie Dennis Rodman called Bird overrated because he was white. His teammate Isiah Thomas then chimed in with some thoughts of his own.
I think Larry is a very, very good basketball player. I think he's an exceptional talent. But I'd have to agree with Rodman. If he was black, he'd be just another good guy.
I can remember in the locker room, I think it was Jack McMullen came up to me and said, Isiah just said, boom, 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 boom. And I go, so?
He didn't care. He didn't care. Everybody else around him cared, very deeply in the days and weeks as it turned out ahead.
I mean, the media made it out like it was something, but it didn't matter to me what Isiah or Dennis Rodman said, and it still don't. It has no bearing on what I do in my life.
He doesn't see race. He really doesn't.
That's tough. Hey, I gotta respect Larry Bird though, bro. Honestly, because I've been through some things in my life also where people come back to you. And of course, like, my life is not publicized like a famous NBA player, the greatest NBA player of that era or one of, but people come back to you and, they, you know, people gossip. They say, hey, John, so-and-so said this about you. Or these people were saying this or whatever, vice versa. And you got to have that mentality like, it is what it is. Whenever you're doing something at an exceptional level, people are going to hate. Now, was Isiah Thomas hating? I wouldn't necessarily say so. You know, you look in the 80s, of course, Bird was one of the best in that era, but you had other great players. You had George Gervin, you had Michael Jordan, you had Isiah Thomas, you had Magic Johnson, you had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you had James Worthy, Dominique Wilkins. So you did have a lot of talented stars that produce on a high level. But at the end of the day, it's all about winning. Who was winning the most prior to the 87 championship? Boston. So the respect and admiration is warranted. But I do like the way Larry Bird think about that. I don't care. I don't let it bother me. I'm just me. They have an opinion. It's their right to. And hey, just like even with me on this YouTube thing, I might say something that somebody don't like. I might have said something in this video somebody didn't like. But hey, guess what? It's my opinion. Mine's. And everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and give a couple more minutes in this part, and we're going to go ahead and conclude the video. But let's go ahead and get back into it.
Has no bearing on what I do in my life.
He doesn't see race. He really doesn't. And he could have. This guy grew up poor, white, in southern Indiana. Southern Indiana, the home, by the way, of the modern Ku Klux Klan. How he managed not to be affected by the cultural milieu that he grew up in is, I think, a miracle. To me, it's inexplicable.
When I was in about 6th or 7th grade, I couldn't wait till school to be over because I knew over on the courts, the waiters from the hotel would be over there. They were black, older, and they let me play. You know, I always looked at that as I got an opportunity to play against a black man, and they treated me good. I couldn't wait to play against the best, and at that time, they were the best.
And in 1987, as Bird vied with Magic to be the best, the flap over Isiah Thomas's racially fueled remarks forced Bird to address his least favorite topic at the worst possible time.
Yep.
I had to go to a press conference when I was in LA trying to get ready to play the Lakers and tell people I didn't care. This don't bother me.
The main thing is if the statements or whatever was said doesn't bother me, I don't think it should bother any of us.
From playing all year, trying to get back to the finals and play against Magic, this was a distraction.
Bird was facing off against Magic for the 3rd time in 4 years. And if their relationship had softened, the determination to beat each other had not. As Game 4 proved, the level of competition between them was higher than ever.
Bird played awesome down the stretch of that game.
Trailing 2-1 in the series, the Celtics were down by 1 point in the final minute of the game. But Larry Bird wouldn't be easily vanquished.
Open is eight. Bird goes for three.
That's a tough shot.
With 7 seconds left, though, the Lakers still had life. 3 years earlier in the '84 finals, Magic had flubbed a similar situation. But this was a different Magic, one with a whole new bag of tricks.
My man switched.
Yeah.
And Kevin McHale jumped out to me. As soon as I saw Kevin, I said, oh, I'm taking it.
This is the shot. Let's go. For those of y'all that don't know, if you know, you know. But hey, for those of y'all that don't know, man, hey, one of the best shots in basketball history is about to take place. Just to let you know.
You know, Magic puts it on the floor, a couple head and shoulder fakes, and he raised up in the air. And there was nobody that was going to get that shot.
Up.
He raised up in the air, and there was nobody that was going to get that shot.
That's a tough shot. Ooh, that shot tough.
After they called timeout, thinking there's still a shot here. Celtics may still win this game.
Well, they set up a great play. Bird walked Worthy all the way up, forced the denial all the way up.
Yep.
We've done it before. Clear everybody out, go to the ball, and break to the corner.
He caught it here, and as he caught it, all he had to do was turn. And just turn, and he just let this thing go.
Bird fires it.
Got a wide open look, couldn't believe it.
And I'm standing right there. It is straight as an arrow.
Dead on.
And the Lakers have won.
They were lucky because it was right on line.
He looked at me like, how did you ever leave me that wide? You gotta be kidding me. Changed the whole series.
Hey, honestly, man, I know what did it for him, man, because he couldn't believe, like, man, am I really like this wide open? So he's just focusing on the fact that like he's just open and he missed a shot just because he was just in such denial. Like, man, this play like really worked to perfection that I'm really wide open with a chance to win the game. Like the amount of disrespect for them to leave me wide open and not double me. And I don't know. That's probably all the stuff that was going through his mind. And that probably what caused the shot to clank off the side, man. But hey, man, it's crazy. That's probably what he was thinking. So anyway, let's go ahead and get back to the video.
Changed the whole series.
The Lakers won the series in 6. And in the aftermath of a year in which Magic had won his first MVP, the rivalry suddenly took on a new tone.
Magic's just a great basketball player. He's the best I've ever seen, you know. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say.
I was shocked that he said it because I thought to myself, maybe this is the beginning of a new era that's not going to include him. It was the passing of the torch a little bit.
Yep.
After vanquishing Bird in '87, Magic wasn't done winning. The following year, he squared off in the finals against his good friend Isiah Thomas and the Pistons, beating them to become the NBA's first repeat champions in 2 decades. By the dawn of the 90s, he'd won 5 titles, played in 8 finals, and equaled Bird's MVP tally of 3. But the more Magic won, the less Irvin seemed to be around to reap the spoils.
Once I tasted the champagne and the championship, I wanted more of that and more of that. So Magic kept growing because we were successful. And the persona and all of that came with that.
The Prince of LA was now the...
All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up the video right here. Man, so yeah, definitely look like it's going to be 4 parts, but appreciate you watching this far through the video. Like I said, this is part 3 of the series, so I've done 2 parts prior to this video. What are my takeaways? A lot of winning. I knew this was about to get to the nitty-gritty whenever I left off in part 2, that we were going to actually deep dive into all of the NBA Finals series between Bird and Magic, and those two will not have another series against each other on that stage going forward. So now we're actually, it looks like from this frame right here, it looks like we're actually going to take a deep dive into, I guess, the ego of Magic Johnson and how Larry Bird's career kind of start to trickle off a little bit due to injuries. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up on the next part. Be on the lookout tomorrow. I'm dropping these every single day. But anyway, appreciate you. Check out one of these other videos. They fire. I'm producing to the best of my ability and only better to come. So love you. Peace.